All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. NFL Week 3 predictions. Last week was very, very, very interesting. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up. It is, of course, much, much appreciated. Also, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and click that bell, turn on your notifications so you don't miss a stream. Tomorrow, I will be streaming the 49ers versus the Giants Thursday Night Football, so make sure that you do subscribe and lock it in. So, yeah, last week, I went 10 for 16, okay? I went 10 for 16. I did make some mistakes as far as who I thought was going to upset. I'll get into my notes. 10 for 16. Obviously, the Jaguars didn't upset like I thought they would. The Lions defense struggled against the Seahawks. I didn't expect that. Titans ended up beating the Chargers in OT, which is really weird because they have all these points, but they just can't seem to win. They're giving up too many points. Commanders I've been sleeping on without a doubt, but also I was really hesitant. I kind of just took Denver because I felt bad about Denver, and they were at home. Sue me. Don't sue me. Patriots offense just ain't it. You guys know that. Patriots, they're just having issues, and they're struggling at offense. But defense, they're kind of doing something, so maybe they can figure something out. I'm just not sure right now. Too much to unpack there. And then, obviously, my last one that I just completely bombed on because Deshaun Watson just couldn't get it done. Deshaun Watson couldn't get it done. He was having so many issues as far as his ability to look up the field, taking sacks. I think that interception at the beginning of the game set the tone for him, and he was just done after that. It just looked like he couldn't bounce back, he couldn't recover, and from that point on, he was just a deer in the headlights. So there it is. Quick shout outs to you guys. September Girl in the house, Ryan, Devlin, shout out to the family, shout out to the Wrench Gang. Much love to all you guys, all the listeners, all the watchers. Overlord says, yo, let's make some money. Let's make it, man. Let's make it. Let's do it. Overlord, upsets equal money. So before we get into this, I just want to say I obviously went through and I broke some things down. This week is weird. There's really not a game where you would think that the team should win for the underdog. It's like, yeah, this team should definitely win because we know what they're capable of. But that's why I made this actual stream called, this prediction stream called, could there be upsets? Because the way that it looks and who these teams are playing against each other, it's really weird. But we'll go ahead and get into it. Chris Hall says you have on the wrong hat, trader. When are you guys going to realize you don't always have to be a Yankees fan to wear a New York hat? I mean, you can be from New York, right? I mean, I'm not saying that I don't ride with the Yankees because I do. I'm just saying I'm also from New York, so that's part of the reason why I also wear the hats. So there you go. Ryan says you should grow out dreads. No, I'm not doing that. Scott Coley in the house says, Jay, hey, I'm very interested in hearing this, bud. Shout out to you, man. Jay was sleeping on my Titans. I did. You guys know I take accountability for everything I say, and when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is. Overlord says, I don't blame you. This season's been wild already. Yes. Khalil, hi, Jay. All right, everybody. Let's go ahead and get into this. I know someone's like, Jay, can you stop talking? Just get into the predictions. We want to know if my team's going to win. I got you. Make sure you guys hit that like, and let's go ahead and get into these Week 3 predictions. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday night, like I said, I will be streaming the game, so make sure you guys lock it in. We have your Giants and your 49ers. And I know you guys are so excited to see this one because we know what we should expect from the 49ers, and we see what's been going on with the Giants. But also, I don't think anybody expected the Rams to play the way that they did. So, with this newfound success that the Giants are riding on from the Cardinals, I'm not ever going to say in this part or segment of the stream that the Giants are going to beat the 49ers. What I will say is, are we expecting a better game than what they put up against the Cowboys? We'll start there. We'll start there. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. As far as the matchup predictor, 19.4% for your Giants, 80.5% for the 49ers. They'll be playing at home. 49ers are 2-0. Giants are 1-1. This will be tomorrow night at 8:15. Like I said, I will be streaming the game, so lock it in. As far as your season leaders, Daniel Jones, 425 yards. He's 41 of 65, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Brock Purdy, 36 out of 54, it's 426 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, in a sense, they're basically the same quarterback, right? Brock just has one more yard, and Jones just has the interceptions. It's kind of interesting. On the rushing side, Barkley, 29 carries, 114 yards, 1 touchdown. McCaffrey, 42 carries, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. On the receiving side, Waller, 9 receptions, 112 yards. Brandon Ayuk with 11 receptions, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns. McCaffrey, 200 on the ground, 268 on the ground. As far as the injury report, you obviously have Micah McFadden, who's questionable, Azeez Ojulari, Andrew Thomas, Saquon Barkley, Wando Robinson. Saquon obviously being the biggest, red flag in this game. But they said that it didn't look as serious, so I don't know what's going to happen, but he could be out for this game. They said that he potentially would be. We'll know for sure, I'm sure, later on, and I'll keep you guys updated about it. But I updated on it, but I definitely think that he will be out. As far as for the 49ers, Samuel Womack III, Ombre Thomas, and Brandon Ayuk is questionable. And then getting into the team stats. You guys know we like to get into this as far as the yards allowed. 322 for the Giants, 334 for the 49ers. Passing yards allowed, 185 versus 269. So can Daniel Jones actually pass the ball? I remember I said this in the Cowboys-Giants prediction. Someone got mad and flamed me because I was talking about his accuracy. Jay, you don't know what you're talking about. He has a 64% completion accuracy from last season. And then he went out there in the Cowboys game, and we didn't see him throw for anything. So there you go. But for some reason, this 49ers team is allowing 265 passing yards. But on the rushing side, they're only allowing 65. So this will be a chance for Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, as they call him, to actually utilize his arm because he's not going to be able to run. I'm telling you right now. It's going to be a problem with that 49ers defense on the run. On the flip side, they're allowing 136 on the rushing side for your Giants. Listen, McCaffrey's going to eat that offense or that defensive line alive, my friend. As far as your spread, San Francisco's favored by 10. 44.5 is your over and under. And without a doubt, this is going to be an easy victory for the 49ers. I just want to see these guys come out and actually play, right? I don't want to see 50-0. I don't want to see 45-0. I would like to see, if you're going to lose, you put up a fight, right? 21, 32, 35, 21, something like that. Don't just get completely blown out. I know it's the 49ers at home, but put up some kind of a fight. Brian Dable, figure out a game plan in regards to these 49ers so you can do something. But with that said, you guys know, I got to rock with these 49ers. They are number 1 this week coming into the power rankings. And there you go. 49ers coming out with the victory on this one. All right. Tactical says, Sheila, those division games are tough no matter what. I feel you. Chubb, career over with. Yeah, and it's really sad. We've seen what happened as far as with his knee. We knew that, he had the knee blowout in college. And, you never expect to see certain things like this, and you don't want to see it. And it's really unfortunate. So hopefully he can recover. Obviously, I'm not going to speculate and comment on his career. But as of right now. I just, we hope that he gets better, and then whatever direction he has to go at that point, can be figured out by him, his agent, his family, and may he, have a great rest of his life after he recovers. So, let's keep it going. Next up, we have your Titans and the Browns. Now, obviously, we've seen what happened with the Browns and the Steelers and Deshaun looking like a deer stuck in the headlights. And yet this week, they are giving the Browns 57.1% at home and 42.6% for the Titans, who have been surprising to say the least. They definitely just got the win in a close victory against the Chargers, which was very surprising to me. Like I said, I did take the Chargers in that game. But this one, I don't see it being a bounce back game for Deshaun. I just don't know why he's been having such a tough time. Like I said earlier, I think it was one of those things where that pick really, really just shut him down mentally, and he just couldn't get it together after that happened. But with Nick Chubb being gone, and yes, I do know that they brought in Kareem, okay? Kareem being fit into that offense that was built around Nick Chubb, how is that going to work on the first game that he's back? I just don't see it right now. And I'm disappointed in Deshaun. Dare I be wrong again? And I choose the Browns again, though. Let's go ahead and get into this one. Tannehill with 444 yards, 36 of 58, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Deshaun Watson, 389 yards, 38 of 69, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Obviously, Chubb is out. Derrick Henry, 40 carries, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. And Hopkins with 105 yards and 11 receptions. Amari Cooper with 10 receptions, 127 yards. As far as the injury report, Christian Fulton, Amani Hooker, Peter Skoronski is questionable for the Titans. For your Browns, Siaka Ika, Greg Newsome, and then, of course, Nick Chubb is out. As far as the yards allowed, 370 for the Titans. They're allowing 305 passing yards, 65 on the rushing. And that's why I said I don't have a real concept or an idea as far as whether or not Kareem Hunt is going to be a factor. As far as whether or not when he shows up on the field, because it's a change. And when you have, it's the same thing that just happened with the Jets in regards to Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson coming in. If the offense isn't built around you from week one and you just hop in, things are going to be difficult. And with the Titans only allowing 65 rushing yards, I definitely think it's going to be one of those things that we're hoping to see Kareem show up instead of knowing that he will. But on the flip side, the Browns are doing the same thing, 65 on the rushing yards, but 152 on the passing yards allowed. So their defense is a little stronger than the Titans. So this is one of those toss-up games for me. You can flip a quarter. But I'm going to go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt. The spread is 3 points, 39.5. I'm going to do it again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to do it one more time, and I'm going to go ahead and give these Browns the win in week 3. Week 3 by 3. So, yeah. Shout out to you, Ron. I got it, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the support. It did come through. I got to bring out Ric Flair for you on that one, man. Shout out to you. Thank you for the support, my friend. Thank you for the love. Ric Flair, where are you at? Much love. Thank you for the support. Support is much appreciated, Ronald. All right, so yeah, we're going Browns by 3 for this one. I know Tactical's like, Jay, you just don't get it. You just keep going against them and you keep losing. It's tough. It's tough. Because every game that these Titans have won has been really close. And it's been a dogfight. But I think there's a lot of pressure under Deshaun Watson, and he's going to be at home. So I feel like this will be the one where the Titans do get beat. I'm just saying. Tactical says, oh, here we go. Jay, we win the underdog games 23-0 when we're the underdog. Listen, I said this was the week of the upsets, and to be honest, I don't even think this would be an upset game. I really think it's just one of those really, really tough matchups, and it could go either way. But because Cleveland's at home, they picked up Kareem Hunt. If they didn't have Chubb, I would have gave it to the Titans all day. But they picked up Hunt. I think he's going to look to have a breakout game, and I just got to sway with the Browns again. And you know it's hurt me to do it because Deshaun really let me down on Monday. So we'll see what happens. All right, next up, we have your Falcons and the Lions. Listen, like I said in the beginning of the stream, these games are really, really interesting. You don't know who's going to win. Obviously, Falcons are 2-0, but it's the Falcons, and look who they played. But then you got the Lions, who are 1-1. They won against the Chiefs and then lost to the Seahawks. So where are we at? 44.5% for your Falcons, 55.1% for the Lions. Obviously, they're playing at home. Ritter with 352 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jared Goff, 576 yards. He's 50 of 70, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Robinson with 29 carries, 180 yards. Montgomery with 37 carries, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hollins with 6 receptions, 91 yards. And Amon St. Brown, 173 yards, 1 touchdown on 12 receptions. Getting into the injury report, Troy Anderson is questionable. Jeff Okudah for your Falcons. And then for the Lions, you have Emmanuel Mosley, James Houston, Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson on IR. As far as the yards allowed, 267 for your Falcons versus 363 for the Lions. And this is the issue that I had with them when they played the Seahawks. I went with the Lions because I said, all right, we've seen what their defense did against the Chiefs. This shouldn't be too much of an issue. But the Seahawks came out and they're ready to ball. So now we're looking at, all right, the offense is great. And I say great, but it's like they're great, right? But the defense has too many holes in it. So if Atlanta can utilize their run game and also their pass game, which has been okay for the most part, they're going to give the Lions a game. They're definitely going to give them a game. They're definitely going to put up a fight. But it's still the Falcons. You have the Lions coming off a loss to the Seahawks, so they're going to be fired up. They're going to be at home. I don't see the Falcons taking this one. The spread is 3.5. Over-under is 46. I'm going to have to go Lions by a touchdown. This is another one that can go either way, I know, but I just feel that veteran experience with the Lions, with their offense, and if their defense can get it together, it's definitely going to be a problem for Ritter and company. So I'm going to have to ride with those Lions for this week. There you go. All right, next up. Saints and Green Bay. This should be a good one. Derek Carr, they've been squeezing through some tough ones. Now, granted, the Panthers, Bryce Young, he doesn't even know where to line up. Shout out to you guys if you've seen that one. Rookie mistake. We're going to forgive him. Sanders is like, yo, get your ass over there. Get from over here. You got to get over there. But listen, Bryce Young, he's still learning. He's still a rookie, and he's getting it together, so we're not going to hold it against him. You know, it's tough. Fresh out of college, starting in the NFL. And but hey, at the end of the day, it's still the Saints, Derek Carr, that defense. All right, 46.3% for your Saints, 53.3% for the Packers. Saints are 2-0. Packers are 1-1. As far as the season leaders, Derek Carr, 533 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Jordan Love, 396 yards, 6 touchdowns. What? Y'all let this man throw for 6 touchdowns? Dang. Taysom Hill with 12 carries, 79 yards. A.J. Dillon with 28 carries, 74 yards. On the receiving, Chris Olave with 14 receptions, 198 yards. And then Jones with 86 yards, 1 touchdown on 2 receptions. Talk about efficiency. As far as your injury report, Kendre Miller and Jamal Williams are questionable. I think Alvin Kamara's back this week. Somebody let me know in the chat. I think Alvin Kamara is back this week. I may be wrong. Don't hold me to it, but I think he is back. And then for the Packers, Lucas Van Ness, Elgton Jenkins, David Bakhtiari, Christian Watson, and Aaron Jones are questionable. As far as yards allowed, 277 for the Saints, 175 in the passing, 102 in the rushing. And then for the Green Bay Packers, 393, 226 on the passing, 166 on the rushing. And then as far as the spread, it's Green Bay by 2, 42.5. Listen, at the end of the day, we seen what happened with Green Bay. And, I ended up taking those Falcons. So if they can get the job done, I feel like the Saints can get the job done. Pio Mai says next week. Suspended 3 weeks, he'll be back week 4. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I wanted to make sure. All right. Yeah. So I mean, if the Falcons can get the job done by a point, I don't see how the Saints can't do the same thing with the veteran leadership and everything that the Saints have right now. Even with Alvin Kamara being out, they've been utilizing Taysom Hill as that multi-purpose Swiss Army knife that we've known him to be. They still got that strong defense. I like Williams on the running game. He's been decent. Not amazing, but he's been decent, been doing just enough to get the job done until Kamara gets back. On the flip side, yes, Jordan Love is comfortable for Green Bay. They're going to be at home. Their defense is great. You've still got, a good receiving Jones is questionable. Yeah, Jones is questionable. So, whether or not he plays, obviously he may be out. Watson is out. There's going to be a lot of issues there as far as the Green Bay offense at home. So I'm going to ride with the Saints on this one. I'll go ahead and go Saints by a touchdown, even though they don't have Kamara, because they've been pulling it off without him. And it really makes you wonder when he comes back how powerful this Saints offense is really, really going to be. Pi says, Miller's supposed to be ready to go this week, they say. Yeah, I'd be excited. Be excited to see him out there. All right. Next up, Denver and Miami. My goodness. 29.7% for Denver and 70% for Miami. Miami's at home. Listen, we have to give credit where credit is due. You can talk about your favorite team. You can talk about how special your quarterback is. Right now, Tua is the best quarterback in the league. Fight about it. Argue about it. Do whatever you want to do. Tua is right now, as of week 3, the best quarterback in the league. Let's get into the season leaders. 45 of 66, 485 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception for Russell Wilson. Tagovailoa, 49 of 75, 715 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. On the rushing side, Williams with 25 carries, 96 yards. Mostert with 158 yards, 28 carries, 3 touchdowns. On the receiving, Mims Jr., 4 receptions, 122 yards, 1 touchdown. And Tyreek the Cheetah Hill with 16 receptions, 255 yards, and 3 touchdowns. As far as your injury report, Greg Dulcich is on IR. DeLauren Turner-Yell is questionable. Frank Clark is questionable as well. For the Dolphins, Teron Armstead, Elijah Campbell, Julian Hill, Kelvin Joseph, and Jalen Phillips. And then for your team stats, 341 yards allowed for the Broncos, 390 yards allowed for Miami, 230 versus 249. Miami's allowing 160 on the rushing versus the Broncos 91. Over under 48.5. Miami is favored by 6.5 at home. Now, listen, I'll tell you this. I was really heartbroken when we watched that game against the Commanders and the Broncos, and I could see the frustration on Russell Wilson, in my mind, Russell Wilson's face. And I'll tell you this, I can tell he really wanted that win. I can tell he wanted he wanted to get that victory and be the man that did it. But for some reason, it's just been really, really tough. And I feel like even under Sean Payton, this Broncos team is just not going to work out. I don't see them having a good season. I see things being really tough. And maybe, just maybe, and I'm going to say it may be time to move on from Russell Wilson. I'm just saying. Jonas says it was a hold on that 2-point conversion. Yeah, we know. We've seen it. Right? But at the same time, they put Russell Wilson in the same situation that he was in the Super Bowl, right? Instead of throwing the ball in the end zone, let him run it in. Make them work for it at the line. Not throw an easy pass that could be broken up for a 2-point conversion that takes you to OT. With that said, I mean, this is just, it's very easy to pick Miami on this one. We can't even go back and forth on it. It's really a shame because I always have regarded Denver as, one of those historic franchises that, we have grown to love and respect. And if you spent your years watching Peyton Manning and John Elway and, it's just one of those things where you're like, wow, how did they end up the way that they are now? And it's sad. But, hey, the reality is this. Week 3, Miami's definitely going to take the W. I'm going to go Miami by 14 at home. So there it is. Ronald says, I agree, Jay. Russell is finished. Pio Mai says Pete Carroll made out like a bandit on that deal. Listen, he knew what he was doing. Everybody was calling him crazy, and yeah, he knew what he was doing because guess what? Denver paid Russell $250 million, whatever it was, $230 million, whatever it was too much. And instead of investing that money in other places, in the O-line and defense, they wasted that money in a failing quarterback named Russell Wilson. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go Miami on this one by 14. Shout out to Richard. What up, man? What's going on with you? Let me get a sip of this water, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Gay Smasher says, show me the money. I would have loved to be the contract broker in that deal. Oh, man, without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right, next up. My goodness. Chargers and Minnesota Vikings. Before we get into this, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, hit that thumbs up. It's much appreciated. 53.2% for your Chargers, 46.5% for your Vikings at home. Listen, another toss-up game. This is the week, literally, you could just flip a coin for these games, for some of them, and be like, all right, that's who I'm going with. You have the Chargers, who've been putting up all these points, but also allowing all these points, 0-2. And then you've got the Vikings, who, obviously, I really feel like they're missing out on Dalvin Cook. Even though people like to say, oh, they're fine without him. Well, hey, they're 0-2 this season without him. So, I mean, something's obviously lacking. And then you could also see Thielen being gone as well because I felt like he was greater on the Vikings, and we don't got to go down that road, but you guys know what I'm saying. As far as your leaders, Justin Herbert, 50 of 74, 534 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins, 708 yards, 64 of 88, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. On the rushing side, Kelly, 29 carries, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. Madison, 19 carries, 62 yards. Allen, Keenan Allen with 187 yards, 14 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, 20 receptions, 309 yards. What's missing here? You say, what's missing, Jay? He's got 9 yards. What's going on? He has no touchdowns. Really? 309 yards, no touchdowns on 20 receptions? It's crazy. As far as your injury report, Austin Eckler, Deion Henley, Eric Hendricks, Chris Rumpf, and then for the Vikings, Garrett Bradbury, Olusamika Udu is on IR. All right, as far as your team stats, 461 yards allowed for these Chargers. They are failing at defense. 356 yards allowed in the passing, 105 allowed on the rushing. And then on the flip side, Vikings 183 on the passing, 166 on the rushing, total for 349. When we get into the line, it's even. My goodness. Over-under is 54. So, like I said, flip a quarter, ladies and gentlemen, because the line is even. Vegas doesn't know. These are your parlay busters. Because you got the Vikings at home and they can show out, and Justin Jefferson can have this amazing game and obviously go for 2 touchdowns in this one after he hasn't scored a touchdown, because we've seen what happened with that one head. He just had to get it. He had to dive for it and then lose the ball and it go out of bounds, and then they turn it over because he just had to dive for it instead of just taking the yards. And that's because he wanted it too much, because he's like, man, I haven't been getting any touchdowns. I got to dive for this and fumble it. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a shootout. But I'm going to say this. The Chargers have been putting up enough points to make them true contenders. So if you're not putting up the points, you're not going to win. And I just don't see the Vikings putting up enough points, even with Jefferson, to beat these Chargers. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go Chargers on this one. And I'm going to say it's going to be another close game, but I'll go Chargers by 3. Jonas says, yeah, Tennessee, someone is going 0-3, without a doubt. Someone. That someone's going to be the Vikings. I got to go Chargers. They'll get the win on this by 3. All right. Next up. Wow. All right, we got your Patriots and your Jets, ladies and gentlemen. 44.9% for the Patriots, 54.7% for the Jets. On your season leaders, Mac Jones, 547 yards, 4 touchdowns. Wilson, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns. On the rushing side, Stevenson, 75 yards, 1 touchdown. Hull with 136 yards on 14 carries. Receiving, Hunter Henry with 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wilson, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. As far as the injury report, Marcus Jones, Jonathan Jones. How many Jones is on the Patriots team? Sidney Sal, Trent Brown are all questionable. And then for the Jets, Michael Carter, Tony Adams, John Franklin Myers, Breece Hall, and Greg Zuerlein are all questionable. As for your spread, Patriots favored by 2.5. Over-under is 37, which is really weird. They're favoring the Patriots while the Jets are at home, and the Jets have the stronger defense. I feel like Zach Wilson can do just enough, but I'm assuming it's because they looked at the score and what that offense was able to do on his side. So, if the Jets coach, Salah, has been paying attention and has been switching things around, we should see more of a run game. Right? Shout out to Gate Smasher. We should see more of the running game from the Jets. Obviously, Bill Belichick is going to rely on Mac to get the pass off. But I definitely think that the Jets should take this one at home. I just don't think Mac Jones and company is going to have anything good for this Jets defense, especially off the loss they just came from. So, Pio Mai says, in Bill I trust. Discipline over rookiedom. Consensus says Jets. Spread says Patriots. Flip your quarter, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm going with the Jets. I'll take Jets by 7. Jets by 7. Toss up. Belichick fired next year if he loses this one. They're at home. They are at home. So we'll see. Well, the Jets. There you go. All right, let's get into the next one. My Bills, Mafia, and the Commanders. Now listen. I did drop in the power rankings that I put the Commanders number 10 alongside the Buccaneers. They were tied at number 10 on the power rankings. I've been sleeping on the Commanders. I went and looked at some stats, some numbers. I went and looked at highlights. They're doing some things. My Bills coming back from that great win against the Raiders. Josh Allen not making mistakes, going out there and playing solid ball. So, as long as we can keep doing the same thing that we did last week, controlling the ball, running the game, not making any mistakes, defense coming up with some solid plays, we should be able to get this win. With that said, 73.4% on the matchup predictor, 26.4% for your Commanders, 26.4%. As far as your season leaders, Josh Allen, 510 yards, 4 touchdowns. Howell with 501 yards, 3 touchdowns. Cook, 169 on the rushing. Robinson, 146 on the rushing. Stephon Diggs, 168 on the receiving. And McLaurin with 85 on the receiving with 1 touchdown. As far as the injury report, Leonard Floyd, Micah Hyde, Terrell Bernard, Jordan Phillips, Dawson Knox were all questionable. Jartavius Martin and Logan Thomas questionable for the Commanders. Bills are allowing 276 yards versus 329 for the Commanders. And as far as your spread, Bills are favored by 6.5. Your over-under is 44. And I'm comfortable with this. I'm comfortable with the Bills by 7. But listen, the reality is this. The Bills need to keep their head down. They need to stay humble. They need to stay focused and play the game that they played last week. This run game is powerful by the Commanders. Sam Howell, he's looking to go out there and show himself off at home and dominate. So the defense is going to have to step up, make sure that we don't get hit in the middle, down the field. So secondary's got to step up. So I'm hoping that they put together the right game plan to take this W. I'm going to have to go with my Bills Mafia by 7. And that's a strong 7. Without mistakes. Bills Mafia. All right. Next up. Texans and Jaguars. Now listen, after all the mistakes that Mr. Trevor Lawrence made against the Chiefs, I'm expecting this man to come out this week and ball. 100%. I don't think he's going to go out there and make many mistakes. I think the run game's going to be great. I think he's going to be a dog at home this week. Texans, 28.6% on the matchup predictor. They're 0-2. Jacksonville's 1-1. 71.2% for your Jaguars. As for the passing yards, C.J. Stroud, 626 yards on 50 out of 91. 2 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence, 46 of 73, 457 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pierce with 69 yards on 26 carries. Etienne Jr., 30 carries, 117 yards, 1 touchdown. Collins, 226 yards, 1 touchdown. And Ridley, this man can run. 10 receptions, 133 yards, 1 touchdown. As far as your injury report, Neville Hewitt, Jalen Petrie, Jimmy Ward, Laramie Tunzel, Tavir Thomas is out for the Texans or questionable. For the Jaguars, Gregory Jr., Travis Etienne Jr., Josh Allen, Antonio Johnson, and Zay Jones is questionable. As far as your yards allowed, 316 for the Texans, 347 for the Jaguars. And then as far as your spread, Jags are favored by 9.5. Over-under is 44. So, yeah. Jags are at home. Texans team, they're still in redevelopment mode. Rookie quarterback. And even though they've been having trouble in the red zone, like you said, Jonas, they're at home. They're playing against a different defense. And I'm going to have to rock with these Jags by a touchdown. So Jaguars by 7. Pyle Maya says, let's go T-Law. Need a big day for that? Yeah. Yeah, I think he's definitely going to ball out at home. I'm not going to say a blowout, but I will say Jags by 7. Jags by 7. So there you go. All right. Wow. Colts and Baltimore. Got your Ravens versus the Colts. Before we get started with this one, make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up. And, of course, if you have not, subscribe to the channel. Lock it in. 22.6% for your Colts. 77.3% for the Ravens. Colts are 1-1. Ravens are 2-0. On the passing side, you got Richardson, 279 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Lamar Jackson, 406 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rushing yards, Zach Moss, 88 yards, 1 touchdown. Edwards with 94 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Pittman Jr., 153 yards, 1 touchdown. Zay Flowers with 140 yards on 13 receptions. As far as your injury report, Colts, Ryan Kelly, Richardson, Quentin Nelson are all questionable. And as far as the Ravens, Marlon Humphrey, Tyler Linderbaum, Ronnie Stanley, Marcus Williams, Adarius Washington are either questionable or on IR. As far as the team stats, yards allowed, 391 for the Colts, 301 for the Ravens. And then getting into the spread, Ravens favored by 7.5. Over under is 45. Ravens at home. Listen, they've been doing just enough to get the job done. And especially without Odell, even though he's too busy talking to Kim Kardashian to play football. But, hey, we're not going to get into that. But Mr. Lamar Jackson have been getting the job done without Odell. And right now I can definitely see where these Ravens are making a statement. They're going to utilize that run game, short pass. And it's going to be very difficult to game plan for these Colts to game plan against the Ravens. I'm going to have to ride with Baltimore at home, even though I will think it should be a game. Should be a game. I'm not going to, write off the Colts completely. But Ravens are going to take this one at home by a touchdown. All right. Richard says Colts go 2-1. You think they're going to beat the Ravens, huh? All right. Jeff says I'm taking the Giants plus 10. I don't know. I'm not getting into that one. Base player, what up? Says Sub J. I want to shout out to Nick Chubb. Get well soon. So sad for him. Yeah. I think everybody in football is definitely sad for feeling bad for Nick Chubb. So, without a doubt. Shout out to Richard. Says, hey, Wrench Gang, let's get Jay some gold blender sunglasses for Christmas. Shout out to you guys. I got a birthday coming up soon, and it's on a Friday. So, it's next month. Some of you don't remember. Some of you will. But birthday next month. I'll be streaming the day before. I'll be streaming the game the day before my birthday. So, shout out to you guys. I'm excited. Birthdays are fun. And Lord willing, we'll be celebrating one more year of Jay. One more year of getting older with Jay. All right, so next up.
And I'd say this.
All right. So we've got the Panthers and the Seahawks. Well, shout out to Tara. Says, Libra Gang. Yeah, Libra Nation. Where you at, yo? Let's go. We got your Panthers and your Seahawks. Obviously, after everything that we've seen with the Panthers and Bryce Young, I just don't feel like he's ready for prime time. The defense is definitely his savior right now. Seahawks are looking to ball. They handled the Lions, even though it was a high-scoring game on both sides. Lions just got outplayed offensively. Pete Carroll is like that, Belichick Jr. He's like Belichick 2.0. So, yeah. 27.3% for your Panthers, 72.5% for the Seahawks. As far as your passing leaders, Bryce Young, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Geno Smith, 48 of 67, 440 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Sanders with 115 rushing yards. Walker III with 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. On the receiving side, Thielen, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Metcalf with 122 yards, 1 touchdown. As far as your injury report, Brian Burns, Justin Houston, Chandler Wooten, Bryce Young, and Miles Sanders are all questionable. For the Panthers, for the Seahawks, Devin Bush, Charles Cross, Bouye Mafi, Mike Morris, and Jamal Adams are all questionable. As far as your yards allowed, 307.5 for the Panthers, 425 for the Seahawks. They're getting torched in the passing yards allowed. And then, of course, as far as your spread, Seahawks are favored by 6. 42 is your over-under. And, I'm going to have to go Seahawks at home. I do like the spread. They're doing some good things. Pete Carroll's running a good organization over there. That man, once he starts chewing that gum, and you see that face, and he's bent over, holding his knees, something great's about to happen for the Seahawks, as we've seen with the Lions. So I got to go with these Seahawks. I'm going to take them by 14 at home. I'm going to go 14 or by 14 at home for these Seahawks, without a doubt. Jonas, that is not true, my friend. That is not true. Neither is that, Ryan. Jeff D says, how old are you? I will let you guys know next month, for those who don't know. Pio Mai says, let's go Hawks for sure. Yeah. Shout out to you, Shelby. Let's go. Carolina defense, nothing to shrug at, without a doubt. But at the same time, with Bryce Young being a rookie, and I just feel like he's not ready. He was thrown into the fire. And he's going up against a team that's, ready to basically not only continue where they were last year, but I do think that the Seahawks will make the postseason. Without a doubt. Shout out to Joyce, says the Seahawks got lucky on the coin toss. Now listen, Joyce. We're not going to get into that. I know you a Lions fan, all right? But you got to give credit where credit's due. Don't be like they just won because they got the coin toss. They won fair and square. And I had the Lions. In my prediction. I'm still mad about it. All right, y'all. I'm going Seahawks at home. Jonas, that is false. Way false. All right, next up, ladies and gentlemen. Bears. Chiefs. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up as we keep it going. 18% for your Bears. 81.9% for the Chiefs. And I'm just going to make a joke here. All right, because we already know where this is going to go. And we already know who should win this game. But just what if? What if something crazy happens and the Bears won this game? All right, we know that the Chiefs should win this game. I'm not going to sit here in front, and we don't even have to go to the stats and all that kind of stuff. Let's just talk about what would happen and how people would feel if miraculously the Bears went into Arrowhead Stadium and beat the Chiefs. It would be complete pandemonium. Shut down. It is the end of the world. It would be so ridiculous. Listen, if this game came down to a Bears win, Immortal would fly in here. We haven't seen him since week 1. He would be back, and he would have so much to say. I guarantee it. I guarantee it, ladies and gentlemen. But obviously, we know that's not going to happen. We know that's not going to happen. Getting into the stats. Fields with 427 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes, 531 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. On the rushing side, Jay Fields, 62 yards, 1 touchdown. Pacheco with 20 carries, 93 yards. On the receiving, DJ Moore, 129 yards. Watson with 107 yards on 5 receptions. As far as your injury report, Darrell Mooney, Eddie Jackson, Josh Blackwell, Nate Davis, and Braxton Jones are questionable on IR. And for your Chiefs, Richie James, Kadarius Toney, Isaiah Pacheco, Nick Bolton, and Willie Gay are questionable for the Chiefs. 387 yards allowed for the Bears and 330 yards allowed for the Chiefs. As far as your spread, Kansas City's favored by 12.5. Over-under is 47.5. The joke in me wants to say, yeah, Bears win 28-7. Just because it's hilarious to even hear that, right? But realistically, it's going to be Kansas City 28-3. So I'm going Kansas City by like 20 on this one. I'm just being real with you guys. I had to make a joke out of it because we already knew what's going to happen. I mean, this is just the reality of it. Yeah, I'm going to go Kansas City by 20. At home, you know, and I just feel like the Bears are tanking right now. It's just not good. It's not good. Ron, I'll send you an email, yo. Or I'll send you a message. Be on the lookout for it. This would definitely be a flared game. Yeah, it's, you know. Sheila says so much crazy stuff in the NFL right now, nothing would surprise. You know, like I said, if the Bears won this game, because listen, there was a couple times where the Broncos could have beat KC last year, and it was really crazy. Nobody thought that would happen, and they got down to like the wire. And it was like, what the hell is going on? The Broncos might beat the Chiefs. And yeah, the Chiefs squeaked out and got those wins. But I don't see that happening with the Bears here unless something absolutely crazy happens. KC by 20. KC by 20. So, yeah. Gary says, I'd like to see the Bears make it a close game. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right. Next up, ladies and gentlemen. Next up. Make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up as we get into these Cowboys and the Cardinals. Talk about a one-sided game. 88.1% for the Cowboys. 11.8% for the Cardinals. Cardinals are 0-2. Cowboys are 2-0. You're looking at the number 2 ranked team in the power rankings for week 3, ladies and gentlemen, going against the broken and frail Cardinals, who put up a fight against the Giants, which was really weird, but then obviously the Giants came back and won the game. So, yeah. Do I expect the Cardinals to put up any kind of points? No, I don't. But, hey, let's get into it. As far as the season leaders, passing yards, Dak Prescott, 398 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joshua Dobbs, 360 yards, 1 touchdown. On the rushing side, Pollard with 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. Connor with 168 yards, 1 touchdown. Brown with 82 yards, 1 touchdown. And then CeeDee Lamb with 15 receptions on 220 yards. As far as the injury report, Chuma, Adoga, Brandon Cooks, Tyler Smith, Donovan Wilson are all questionable. As far as your Cardinals, LJ Collier, Budda Baker, Lakeith Fotu, Josh Woods, and Carlos Watkins are either IR, questionable, or out. And for total yards allowed, 226 for the Cowboys. They're doing amazing at defense, without a doubt. 371 for the Cardinals, 261 for your passing, 109 on the rushing. And then as far as your spread, Dallas is favored by 12 points. Over-under is 43.5. I mean, this is another one, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be your Cowboys. I mean, I really hate that it's another week that the Cowboys get to just say whatever they want to say. That's what I'm going to say right now. I'm sick of hearing it. The Cowboys, the Cowboys, the Cowboys. It's the Cardinals. Okay? I don't want to hear nothing if y'all win. We know. We get it. It was the Cardinals this week. Play a real offense. Please. And I'll give you all the gratitude you want. But don't come in here talking that garbage to me after they beat the Cardinals. They're 3-0. The Cowboys. I'm not going to burn a jersey yet because I'm not really mad at Dak. It's the Cardinals. I can't wait till the real game start. All right, next up. All right, we got your Steelers and the Raiders, ladies and gentlemen. Steelers and the Raiders. Can you say Kenny Pickett got bailed out by his defense on Monday night? We can say that, right? And then we could also say that the Raiders and Jimmy G are a decent team that could potentially beat the Steelers, right? They're basically at the same point of the Browns, right? Right? Wait a minute. Jonas just said Dallas is going undefeated. Oh, my goodness, man. See, I knew it was coming. I told you I didn't want to hear it. And here he goes. He had to do it. I told you guys. This is what they do. I'll be midstream trying to talk about something else, and it'll go right back to it. Why? I love some of you guys. And Jonas, I love you, but why? Undefeated? Come on, man. Don't make me get into Dak Prescott. Don't make me do it, man. Don't make me get into Dak Prescott. I'm not going to sit here and knock the defense because, yes, the defense is number one in the league right now. They're number one. But Dak Prescott really ain't been doing much. And you know, just like we do, when it comes down to it and the game's on the line and Dak has to do something, oh, yeah. It's a whole different conversation then, sir. So you better hope that defense keeps saving his ass. All right. Let's get into your Steelers and the Raiders. 48.8% for your Steelers, 50.8% for the Raiders. As for the passing leaders, Kenny Pickett, 454 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Garoppolo, 385 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. As far as the rushing, Najee Harris was 74 yards on 16 carries. Josh Jacobs, 28 carries on 46 yards. As far as the receiving, George Pickens, that Pickens to Pickens combo, has got 9 receptions, 163 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Adams with 12 receptions, 150 yards, 1 touchdown. As far as the Steelers, Deontay Johnson, Anthony McFarland's on IR. Gunnar, Olszewski, Minka Fitzpatrick, Elandon Roberts are all questionable. For the Raiders, Bilal Nichols, Chandler Jones, and Jacoby Myers are questionable. Steelers are allowing 420 yards, and the Raiders are allowing 364. Your spread, Vegas is 2.5. Favored by 2.5. Over-under is 43. They're going to be at home. I think we see the defense of the Steelers step up. I'm just going to be honest. I think we see them step up. I see them make it a great game. I definitely see the Raiders coming out. They're balling. Josh Jacobs had a lot of trouble against the Bills. And I can kind of see him having that same trouble against the Steelers because they weren't letting much get through with Nick Chubb, without a doubt. But the real question is Kenny Pickett going to be able to pick his head up as well and look down that field and be able to throw the ball and really move it? Because we haven't seen much from Najee Harris, right? We haven't seen too much from Warren. And obviously, with McFarland being out, that's who you're relying on. So, I'm going to have to go against my own grain here. Because even though I was swayed more towards the Steelers, I'm going to have to go Raiders by a touchdown at home. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go out like Deshaun Watson. I'm just being honest. Jimmy Garoppolo knows how to throw an interception and then shake it off and then come back and win a game. Something that Deshaun Watson has a problem right now with. So I'm going to go Raiders by 7. There it is. All right. Next up. Oh, yeah, and that's a Sunday night game, too, so we'll be streaming that. Shout out to you guys. 75 viewers, 42 likes. Can we get to 50, ladies and gentlemen? We just need 8 more. 8 more likes, 8 more thumbs up. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up. It is much appreciated. And also, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. Click that bell, turn on your notifications so you don't miss a stream. Tomorrow night, we will be doing the Giants and the 49ers for Thursday Night Football. So like I said, make sure you lock it in and subscribe. We will be streaming that game. All right, next up. This is going to be one of our doubleheaders for Monday night. And this is the game that I will be streaming on Monday night. I'm not going to do the Rams. I'm going to do this one. This will be the game that I stream on Monday night. And it's an early game, so I'm liking it. I like the Eagles. I like Tampa Bay. This is going to be a hell of a game, I think, without a doubt. Monday night, 7:15. Like I said, I will be streaming this. 69.6% for the Eagles, 30.2% for the Buccaneers, which right now, I'm going to be honest, I think that 30.2% is very, very disrespectful. I really do, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Quick shout out to Shelby coming through with the $10 super chat. Shout out to Shelby. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the $10 donation. It is much, much appreciated. All right. I do think that the 30.2% is disrespectful, and I'll tell you why. Philly has been having issues in the second half of the game. They come out real strong. They play great. The offense does wonders. The offense does what they need to do. But then at the second half of the game, the defense starts to fall asleep. They start letting things slip through the cracks. They start letting big runs happen. They start letting big passing plays happen. They start letting touchdowns happen. And then guess what? Philly fans are on the edge of their seat like this because they can't believe it. They're getting nervous. They're getting scared. So, I think the Buccaneers are going to give these Eagles some hell on Monday night. At home, yeah, let's get into this one. As far as the season leaders, Jalen Hurts, 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Baker Mayfield, 47-68, 490 yards, 3 touchdowns. And don't talk about the teams that he did it against. Just look at the stats. On the rushing side, Swift, 178 yards, 1 touchdown. White, 34 carries, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. As far as the receiving, Devonta Smith, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Evans, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. Look at these stats, ladies and gentlemen. Forget your consensus. Pay attention to some of these stats. It gets real. As far as the injury report, James Bradbury, questionable. Reed Blankenship, questionable. Kennedy Gainwell, questionable. Avonte Maddox is out. For the Bucks, Chase Edmonds, questionable. Servocia Dennis is questionable. Carlton Davis and Kalijah Kancey, questionable. As far as the yards allowed, 392. I just said earlier, in the second half of these games, Philly is allowing all these big plays to happen. Well, there it is. 340 yards allowed. 52 on the rushing. On the flip side, Buccaneers only allowing 277. 54 on the rushing. When we get into the spread, Philly's favored by 5. 46 is your over and under. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, ladies and gentlemen. Buccaneers are going to have their win at home, and they're going to send Philly back with their first loss of the season, and they'll be 2-1. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Buccaneers taking the W by 7 at home against Philly. There you go. What are you talking about, Jonas? See, Jonas, you talk too much. You should have waited. You should have waited until I was done with my prediction. Now you look crazy. Taking the Buccaneers. Jay doesn't believe in Baker. Look at everything I just said about the man. You talk too much. You should wait. You should wait until Jay says what he's going to say and then give your piece, my friend. Because I bet that you wasn't expecting that at all. May just comes in and says, blasphemy. I should have expected that. I should have expected it. I should have known you would come and say that, Magus. I get it, Magus. This is your team. This is your team. You're a Philly fan. But I've been watching Baker. I've been paying attention. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I thought Kyle Trask should be the man. But guess what? Baker Mayfield came in and he showed me otherwise. And yes, I have to give credit where credit is due. You guys know that. I take full accountability. Jonas, are you kidding me? What is wrong with you? I'm literally giving the man his accolades right now. What is going on, y'all? Do you want a Snickers? Are you hungry? Jonas, is that what's going on? Are you hungry? It's like you're sitting in court and like you're agreeing with the lawyer and he's like, objection. He's agreeing with me. What? Let me talk. My goodness. I'm giving the man his accolades. I didn't believe in him, obviously, because of his career and his trajectory. And I expected Kyle Trask to take over and do what he was supposed to. But it didn't happen that way. Baker Mayfield came in and he was the right choice. So there we go. There we go. Yes, you have a video of that. I'll pull up the video. I don't care. I know what I said. And just like every other analyst who says what they say and they have to retract it, I'm retracting it. Baker Mayfield's the man for the job. He's proven himself. There you go. What else do you want from me? He's like, I want you to bow down and say that Baker Mayfield is the greatest of all time, Jay. I'm not doing it, all right? He's 2-0. Relax. I'm trying to give him some credit right now, and you're ruining it, Jonas. I don't want to hear this. You're ruining it. Let me give the guy his credit and say that they're going to win. My goodness. It's 4 o'clock. I might need a drink after this. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Buccaneers at home. After this rubbish from Jonas today. Major says, Jay, sorry. I'm Philly born and bred. Monday night I'm pulling up and I'm going to be on my ish. I'm just saying. From what I'm seeing and everything that this Buccaneers team has going right now, they're going to be the first team that gives Philly the business and gives them a true run for their money. So there it is. Major says, bring all that same energy Monday night. I will. What are you talking about? Majors don't play. You know, I'll bring all that energy, my friend. I'll bring every bit of it, 100%. I will bring all of it. I will be on Monday night. You guys will be all here, and this same energy will be in full effect. I might even have to bring out the hoodie. I'm not bringing out the hoodie. But you guys get it. You guys get it. Darian says, laugh out loud. Bucks over Eagles on Monday night. That's funny. All right, we'll see how funny it is. We'll see how funny it is. As he says, 37-13 Eagles. All right. We'll see, my friend. Happy Face says, Bucks may throw some wrenches into the system. That's what I'm saying. We talk about upsets. This is a Monday night game. Tampa Bay at home. Baker proved himself. Okay. And I'm just saying, I mean, you guys love to talk stats, right? Jay, you're talking out of your butt. Jay, you're saying a whole bunch of nothing. I mean, the stats don't lie. 40 of 56 for 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Baker Mayfield, 490 yards, 3 touchdowns. The man is efficient. He hasn't thrown a pick yet. And he has 1 more touchdown. That connection with Mike Evans over Devonta Smith sure looks pretty good. If you had to pick right now, who you taking, Mike Evans or Devonta Smith? Who has more yards? Who's worth more? I mean, if we're playing fantasy, I got to go with the Buccaneers, right? I mean, that would just be common sense. That's me not leading with my heart. That's just facts over feelings, right? Right? Those T-shirts coming soon. Facts over feelings. Shout out to you guys. Darian says they have no run game, and we only give up 52 rushing yards a game. He throwing 2 interceptions. You know what? This is where we get into this. 34-28 against the Vikings. One more touchdown. Y'all probably lose that game. 25-20 against the Patriots. A touchdown. Y'all lose that game. Eagles aren't dominating right now. Let's have that conversation that we had last year. How everyone's like, oh, the Eagles. But they weren't dominating. Sure, they were winning. But this year, they're just skating by. So until you can show me a 28-3 victory, 35-14 victory, all this shows me right now is we just are getting by. We just got by. We skated by to win the game. Stat pencil analytics don't win games. All right, here you go. Now you want to push the goalpost. Let me get some water for this one. Here we go. You want to push the goalpost, Mages? Is that what we doing? We going to push the goalpost? Chiefs just won by 8 over the Jags, but y'all still claim they dominant. I never said they were dominant. Who said they were dominant? Because I didn't. I never said the Chiefs were dominant. I said their defense is still questionable. And especially the offense, because they only put up 17, and that's not what we expect from the Chiefs. So who said that? Shout out to King Jaffe. Who told you that? I got to get the James Earl Jones effect. Chief says the Bucs defense just sacked 5 times a running quarterback. That's what Jalen is. Listen, Monday night, we're all going to see. It's going to be a great time. I'm excited for it. I will be streaming that game. So just make sure you guys are here. That's all. Just make sure you guys are here. Darian says, why does it matter how much you win by as long as you win? So do you want your team to just skate by all year with, 1 point, 3 points? Or would you prefer your team to actually be dominant? Because right now, sure, you guys are 2-0, but so's Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay is in the top 10 right now for power rankings too. So, well, what are we talking about? So, yeah. All right. Last one, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not least, of the Monday night doubleheader.
What do you know about Joe Burrow and him going forward with that injury?
Well, he tweaked it yesterday, and obviously he has not looked right the last 2 weeks. Obviously it impacted him and was a factor in the opener and looked like it was again yesterday. And if he came out of that game and he didn't feel great there, I think it's fair to wonder, is he going to be ready for a week from Monday night against the Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams Rams offense that seems to have just kind of been unbelievable this season. Bengals, Rams next Monday night. Let's see how the Cap responds this week. It's not an ideal situation. I would have thought by opening day it would have been better, wouldn't have been an issue, but clearly he and they just have not looked right through 2 games of the season. Now, saying that, they started 0-2 last year, I believe, And Joe Burrow is like, everybody relax. We're going to be fine. It might be time to utter a similar message this week.
All right. Let's get into these Rams and these Bengals. 34.4% for the Rams, 65.3% for the Bengals. Rams are 1-1. Bengals are 0-2. They are playing at home. This is the second game for Monday night. This will be at 8:15. You've got Burrow, 304 yards, 41 of 72, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Stafford, 641 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Williams with 104 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then Mixon with 26 carries and 115 yards. Nakoa with 266 yards on 25 receptions. And then Higgins with 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. As far as the injury report, Rams, you have Joe Noteboom out. For the Bengals, Burrow, Chris Evans, Joseph Asai, Nick Scott, all questionable. As far as the Rams are allowing 281 yards, Bengals are allowing 387. And as far as your spread, Cincinnati's favored by 2.5. 43.5 is your over-under. Listen, we're having the same conversation that we're having before in regards to Joe Burrow and the injury, the calf. And I told you guys way before the season even got started that him playing on that injury was going to determine whether or not we're looking at his speed, his mobility, his incompletions, all that kind of stuff. And that's one of the biggest problems as far as what we're seeing and why the Bengals are at 0-2.
Good picks, Jay. Next week we'll say if you are 99.9%.
Shout out to you, Piggy Bacon. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the support. Much love. I think I had some good picks. I made some people mad, but it's all right. It's all love. It's all love. So yeah, I mean, as far as Burrow, we've seen, what the injury has done to him, but at the same time, the Bengals did have a slow start last season, so it's kind of like the same thing, but it's also not because Burrow wasn't injured last year. He was having an issue with his offensive line. So now we're seeing an injured Burrow trying to win. That's where the issues lie. And now you got the Rams, who surprisingly look better than what most people thought, even with Kupp being out. So, with that said, unfortunately, I do think that the Bengals will take another loss. And I'm going to have to go Rams. I'm going to have to go Rams by 7. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Rams by 7. Jonas says, Happy, I've been saying needs to rest him until he is at 100%. Exactly. They should have rested him for week 1, week 2, right? When you can afford to take the losses, let him heal up and then come back. Instead of just putting him out there and hoping for the best. You paid the man $270 million. I'm assuming you'd want him to be at 100% because right now he doesn't look like he's worth the money. What happened? I've been saying it. If you're a quarterback and you're decently good and you're remotely good this year, you could get yourself a check. Without a doubt. They were giving away checks for $200 million if you were a quarterback and you were okay. Yo, shout out to Mages, yo. How many weeks have I given Philly the win? And the one week I don't. Jay hates Philly. Jay's talking all the garbage about Philly. Didn't Jay just give Philly 2 wins in a row? Jay, no. You got to say that Philly's going to win every game, including the Super Bowl. Oh, man. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Your NFL Week 3 predictions. You guys are brutal. I love each and every one of you, but you guys are definitely brutal. And I feel like when I get done with these kind of streams, I get beat down, and I need a real solid drink. And I don't drink anymore. That's the worst thing about it. Now I know why some of these guys drop videos, because they don't have to talk about their predictions when they make them. They just drop videos. And now I'm starting to see why. I'm starting to see why they just drop videos. But me being me, I'm like, no, I want to give the people what they want. They want the engagement. They want the live conversation. That's what Jay does. And then I get beat up for it because someone's like, Jay was like, Philly's going to lose. Even though he said that they were going to win for the first 2 weeks in the NFL season. Jay hates Philly. I'm going to go watch Chat Sports. Man up, let's go. Monday Night Football, ladies and gentlemen. You're rocking with your boy Jay. This is NFL Week 3 predictions. And I'll see all you guys tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football. Have a good day, everybody. Enjoy your hump day. Because I will.